Hey guys, this is Risk here, back with episode number 2 of Improving Mentality, and today we are going to be talking about an important thing. That important thing is tunnel visioning. This is something that people in the real world do and people in StarCraft 2. So to start off, we're going to talk about real world examples. The most obvious example of someone tunnel visioning is a test. It's a classic example. And a lot of times you'll see people as they approach a test, they get really zoned in on the test. I need to study, I need to study, I need to study, I need to study. Instead of doing this, we have to stop ourselves and ask ourselves the question, what am I missing out on by being so focused on one task? A lot of times we convince ourselves that only one thing matters. That's why people tunnel vision. Tunnel visioning is us convincing ourselves by that being super focused on that one thing that we're focused on is more important than opening up the visor and seeing the other possibilities and things that are the other possibilities and factors that are affecting what we're aiming for. So ask yourself the question, what am I missing out on being so focused on one task? A lot of times for someone studying, when you open up the doors, you suddenly realize, okay, I'm missing out on sleep, maybe I'm skipping food, maybe I'm missing a balanced lifestyle. Maybe I'm not exercising. Maybe I'm not studying a reasonable amount. Maybe that extra 3 hours actually isn't doing much for me because I'm not even in a good state of mind. So it's super important. Super important. Ask yourself that question in the real world. Whenever you start to become super laser focused on one thing, ask yourself, what am I missing out on? So, jumping to StarCraft 2 now that we've given like a real life example of studying. A lot of times you'll see players, they'll take this huge fight, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I just won it. And immediately what they do is they focus, they tunnel vision, and they try to push. But stop. Ask yourself the question, how do we lose this game? How do we lose this game? Open up the blinders before you push. And that answer manifests itself in 5 things. Drops, not getting static defense, not teching, not getting upgrades, and not expanding after a big fight. Those 5 things are all critical. Whenever you have a huge fight that you've just won, don't tunnel vision. Ask yourself the question, how do we lose this game? Because a lot of times, a lot of players, they get stuck asking themselves the question, can I end this game? And the problem is a lot of times this works, but the mentality of how do we lose this game is oftentimes a much more powerful and effective question to be asking ourselves. And a lot of times, how do we lose this game? Sometimes the answer is by not pushing. So sometimes being that hyper-aggressive, that is the way to do it. But that's a part of how do we lose this game. That's a part of that question. So thanks for watching, guys. This episode's on tunnel visioning. Be aware whenever you start to focus on something, open up your blinders and ask yourself what variables and factors are affecting me that are making me tunnel vision, and how can we better go about this task without tunnel visioning. Thanks for watching, guys. This is episode number 2 of an Improving Mentality. This is RiskSC. I will see you guys next time.